All right, ready to dive in. Today, it's Scott Galloway's The Algebra of Wealth, and we've got excerpts plus a summary. So get ready for some serious financial wisdom, the kind you can actually use.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Reading about it's one thing, but actually using it, that's the goal.
Exactly. So first things first, who is this Scott Galloway, and why should we listen to him talk about money?
Okay, so Galloway, he's kind of a rock star in the business world, professor at NYU, entrepreneur. He's even got a popular podcast. The guy's got serious street cred.
So not just some academic talking theories. He's like been there, done that, built businesses, made money, probably lost some too, right?
Exactly. And in the Algebra of Wealth, he actually goes deeper than just like having a big bank account.
Yeah.
He doesn't define wealth that way.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. What's this deeper definition then?
Well, he starts the book with this story about his son. He loses a really expensive ski glove.
Oh, I can relate. Lost a few gloves myself. Usually not the expensive kind, though.
Right. But for Galloway, it kind of triggered this whole reflection thing, took him back to his childhood and like all those financial anxieties he had growing up.
So it's about more than the money itself. It's the feelings, the stress, that lack of freedom when you're not financially secure.
Exactly. That's what's so insightful. He says true wealth, it's about being economically secure and stable, having the freedom to choose without that constant money stress.
Yeah, that resonates. I think we've all felt that, even if you're doing okay financially, that nagging anxiety.
Absolutely.
Mm.
And a lot of people, they feel like the system is rigged. Like, no way can I ever be wealthy no matter how hard I work.
Oh, yeah. Definitely felt that way sometimes. But Galloway, he sees it differently, right?
He does. He says, look, the system might not be perfect, but to succeed, you got to understand how capitalism works.
So it's not about fighting it. It's more like learning to play the game strategically.
Exactly. And he uses some really cool examples to make this point. He talks about like Jay-Z building this huge business empire. Then there's Ronald Reed, this janitor who he actually became a millionaire just by simple living and smart investing. And then, of course, there's Warren Buffett.
So we got a rapper, a janitor, and a billionaire investor. That's a pretty diverse group.
Right. And that's the point. There's a lot of paths to wealth, but they all have this one thing in common.
What's that?
Consistent, smart financial behavior over time.
So no, get rich quick schemes. It's about making good choices consistently for the long haul.
Exactly. Now you might be thinking, okay, all sounds good, but how do I actually do it? How do I start building wealth?
Yeah, let's get practical. What's step one?
Well, Galloway talks about your burn rate. It's how much you spend each month to live your life, to just maintain your current lifestyle.
Rent, groceries, that daily latte adds up.
It does. And the goal is to get your passive income money from investments and assets to exceed that burn rate.
So your money's working for you, making more money even when you're asleep, not just your job anymore.
Precisely. Galloway even gives a target. Accumulate assets worth 25 times your yearly burn rate. That's like true financial freedom.
Wow, that's ambitious. But I'm guessing Galloway wouldn't just leave us hanging. There's got to be a plan, right?
You bet. He's got a whole formula for it.
A formula. Okay, now you're speaking my language. I love a good formula.
He calls it the algebra of wealth. It goes like this. Wealth equals focus plus, in parentheses, stoicism times diversification.
All right, let's break it down. First up, focus. What does he mean by that exactly?
He means you got to focus on developing skills people will pay for. Skills that lead to a good income, something reliable. Figure out what you're good at and how that translates to earning power.
So not just blindly following your passion. It's more like finding where your skills and passions in the market all kind of meet.
Exactly. And once you got those skills, you got to invest in yourself. Like really invest, take courses, read, go to workshops, network. Always be learning and getting better.
Okay, so focus is about investing in your human capital. Got it. What about the next part? Stoicism. Isn't that some ancient philosophy stuff? How's that related to personal finance?
Oh, it's actually super relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And it's way more than just saving money. Stoicism, it's about discipline, self-control, being resilient. All those things are crucial for building wealth that lasts.
Okay, I'm seeing how that connects, but what does that actually look like day-to-day money decisions?
It starts with being mindful about spending. Before you buy anything, ask yourself, do I really need this? Or am I just caught up in a sale or being impulsive?
It's about resisting those treat yourself moments, huh? The ones that drain your bank account.
Exactly. And Stoicism, it also teaches you to delay gratification. Instead of blowing money on a fancy vacation or the latest gadget, invest that money.
So, playing the long game, making choices today that'll benefit your future self.
Exactly. And this ties in perfectly with the next part of the equation, time.
Yeah, the sooner you start investing, the better, right? We all know that.
Absolutely. Time is your biggest advantage when it comes to building wealth. Compounding, it's really powerful. The earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow exponentially.
What about those of us starting a little later, though? Is it even worth trying to catch up?
Oh, for sure. It's never too late. Every dollar you invest, it's like planting a seed for your future.
So, don't get discouraged if you're feeling behind. Just start now and be consistent.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And remember, investing isn't just about the stock market. It's about investing in your health, your relationships, your skills, your experiences. All those things make for a richer life in every sense.
Okay, so we've got focus, stoicism, time. Three big pieces of Galloway's wealth formula. But there's one more, right?
Yeah, we can't forget diversification. Got to
Yeah.
sprinkle that in.
Right, right. Don't put all your eggs in one basket and all that.
Exactly. It's all about spreading your investments around, different asset classes. Helps you manage risk. Think of it like if one part of your portfolio takes a hit, you got others to soften the blow, like a safety net.
So, like, not putting all your money into, say, tech stocks.
Right. You don't want to bet your whole financial future on just one industry, no matter how good it looks.
Makes sense. So, how do we diversify, right? What kind of assets does Galloway recommend?
Well, he says think about a mix. Stocks, bonds, real estate, even some alternative stuff like precious metals, maybe even collectibles. How much you put in each depends on, how much risk you're comfortable with, your goals, how long you're investing for.
So, it's personal. No one right way to do it.
Exactly. What works for one person might be totally wrong for someone else. That's why it's important to do your research. You got to understand those risks and potential returns for each type of asset.
This is probably sounding kind of intimidating, especially if you're just starting out. Any advice for people who aren't like financial experts?
Oh, yeah. There are some easy ways to diversify, even as a beginner. Like you can invest in index funds. Those are low cost and they track a broad market index.
So, you're basically buying a tiny piece of tons of companies all at once.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Super easy way to diversify right away without having to pick individual stocks yourself.
Okay, that's a good starting point. But Galloway talks about going beyond just investments, right? Diversifying other things too.
You got it. He's big on diversifying your income.
Ah, so the side hustle comes into play here.
You know it.
Yeah.
Having multiple streams of income, it's a huge safety net, especially these days. Think freelancing, consulting, maybe even a small business on the side.
So it's like having a backup plan for your income, not relying on just one paycheck.
Exactly. It's about building financial resilience. So you're not so vulnerable if the economy takes a dip or, life throws you a curveball.
I like it. So Galloway's formula: focus, stoicism, time, diversification. It's really starting to make sense now, like a roadmap.
I'm glad to hear that. And what's really powerful about his approach, it's not just about the numbers. It's about making sure your financial choices match your values, your goals, what you want your future to look like.
It's about taking control so your finances work for you, not the other way around.
Exactly. And while all these strategies are important and the tools, there's one more piece we got to talk about, the human element,
Okay, what's up?
mastering your financial behavior,
Yeah.
conquering those emotional biases that can like totally sabotage even the best plans.
Yeah, we talked about stoicism earlier, but this feels like it goes beyond just discipline, right? It's
Yeah.
understanding the psychology, like why we make the money decisions we do.
You're exactly right. Even if you've got the perfect strategy, your own mind can be your biggest obstacle.
So how do we get out of our own way? How do we like beat those biases and make rational decisions about our money?
That's the million-dollar question. And that's what we're diving into next. Get ready for the world of behavioral economics, unlocking the secrets of your money mindset.
All right, let's talk about mastering our financial behavior then. Getting a handle on the psychology of our money decisions.
Exactly. You could have a great plan, a perfect budget even, but if your own mind's working against you, it's like trying to run a marathon with a sprained ankle.
Okay, so let's talk about those mental blocks then. The emotional biases that can really trip us up. What are some of the big ones when it comes to money?
Well, one that comes up all the time is it's called loss aversion. Basically, we feel the pain of losing money way more strongly than we feel the happiness of gaining the same amount.
So even if there's a good chance you'll make money, that fear of losing, it can hold you back, make you miss opportunities.
Exactly. And it leads to bad decisions, like holding on to a losing investment for too long, hoping it'll come back, or selling everything when the market dips and locking in those losses.
Oof. Yeah, I've been there. What about that feeling where you gotta follow the crowd? Like everyone's talking about this hot stock and you feel like you're missing out if you don't buy in.
Ah, the bandwagon effect. Powerful stuff, that is. And it can be dangerous with investing. You get caught up in the hype, ditch your plan, and make impulsive decisions. Not good.
And then there's that thing where you only look for information that supports what you already believe, even if you're wrong.
Right, right. Confirmation bias. It's
Yeah.
like you've got blinders on, you only see what you want to see, and you ignore everything else. Can lead to some really stubborn and expensive mistakes.
So, how do we break free from these mental traps? How do we get better at recognizing these biases and make smarter choices with our money?
Well, the first step is just being aware. You gotta know that these biases exist, and we're all vulnerable to them. Like, shine a light on those mental shortcuts that can trip you up.
So, know yourself, know your biases, like understanding the enemy before you go into battle.
Exactly. Once you see those tendencies, you can start to challenge them, right? Ask yourself, am I making this decision for the right reasons? Or am I letting my emotions take over?
And that's where discipline comes in, right? Having a plan and sticking to it, even when you feel like doing something else.
Couldn't agree more. Discipline, that's key for long-term success. You got to set clear goals and have a plan to get there.
And this is where those SIPs can be so helpful, the ones we talked about before.
Oh, absolutely. Systematic investment plans. It's like having a personal trainer for your finances. You automate it, take the emotion out. You're investing regularly, no matter what the market's doing or how you're feeling.
Like setting your financial future on autopilot in a good way.
Precisely. And, another powerful tool for mastering behavior, it's surrounding yourself with the right people.
So find your own personal finance support group.
You got it. Find people who share your values, support your goals, people who can give you guidance, keep you accountable. Could be friends, family, even a financial advisor.
Yeah, having your own financial cheerleading squad can make a big difference.
It really can. And lastly, remember, mastering your behavior, it's not a one-time thing. It's a process, a journey.
So just keep making small changes consistently and celebrate those wins along the way.
Absolutely. And be kind to yourself. If you mess up, we all do, just learn from it and keep going.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Galloway's The Algebra of Wealth, what's the one thing you hope listeners take away?
I think it's that true wealth, it's about more than just money, right? It's making sure your financial choices line up with your values, your goals, what you want for your future.
Taking control so your money works for you helps you create the life you want.
Exactly. And remember, like Galloway says, social media, that could be a real wealth killer. It takes up so much time and energy, time you could be using to learn, invest, or just, enjoy life.
Yeah, next time you're scrolling mindlessly, think about that. Could you be using that time better?
Could you be investing it in your future self?
Oh, that's something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the algebra of wealth. We hope you got some great insights and some real strategies to build a better financial future.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.